brisket. And the reason why we chose brisket is because we have, for me, I'm Jewish, Tim's Catholic, girls are both.
Well, we celebrate everything. And
do.
brisket's a very traditional Jewish holiday food that you will find. And with 2 holidays coming up in the month of September.
Yep, we've got our Jewish New Year, you got Yom Kippur.
So we figure we're going to show you how to make it, and it's so delicious because on top of all of that, we got football season, so brisket sandwiches. This is a
barbecue.
great one-pot thing to make that'll feed a lot of people.
Absolutely. Right, so you need onions. You need 1.5 onions.
1.5 onions. We already have some cooking down.
Right. And so then you need mushrooms. You can have the little brown creminis, shiitakes, any kind of mushrooms you want. Carrots, purple, orange carrots.
Love it.
We're going to have some fresh herbs, a little thyme, a little bay leaf, some chopped parsley, and then we're going to show you the rest as we keep going on. So right now I've got some onions cooking down, and we're going to go ahead and add to the onions. All right, so I'm going to slice these. Well, Megs, I cut them like in a diagonal.
And there's no right way. All of this food is going to be going in and around
this beautiful brisket.
Gorgeous brisket. And this one that we got is good to feed about how many people would you say?
Well, this brisket that we have, I'll show you here. This is about 2.5 pounds of brisket. This one maybe 3, but that may be 2.5 or 3. But brisket shrinks, so you always want to consider it to be at least 1/2 pound less than what you originally get because it does shrink up. Okay? And so we're just going to throw the onions in here. Meg, you got some onions there for me?
Yes,
the carrots. We're going to throw the mushrooms in here.
And so we're cooking all of this down first before we lay the brisket on top of it.
Well, and you know what I realized? I did this again backwards, but it's okay. So I'm cooking down all of these beautiful vegetables, and then we're going to actually sear the brisket for a minute. All right, and then we're going to put them all back into the pot and add some of the other goodies with it.
So there's a couple steps to this brisket, but do every single one of them because it is so worth it. That's the literally like fall apart in your mouth. So yummy.
And so the other thing that I wanted to add to it is about 3 or 4, Meg, do you want to slice that one up? Slivered garlic. Okay, so I'm just going to add that in here. And slivered is, you know, so you can kind of actually see it. And the other thing that you can do is save some of the slivers for me. I'm going to show you what we're going to do with them.
Oh, I love this part. Okay. Yes, I know.
So while this is cooking down, oh wait, let me add a little pinch of salt in here. Let it get going.
Okay to give that thyme in there?
Not yet. We're going to add the thyme. May I have a little olive oil, pretty please?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to add a little more oil to this, a little olive oil.
Brown it up nicely.
Now, let's talk about this pot, all right? This pot, I'm going to cook down all these vegetables, but you have a lot of choices for pans. You could use a Pyrex. Everyone has a traditional 9x13 Pyrex dish. You want it to be deep because we are going to be adding some, you know, broth to it, all right?
And then we're going to be baking it.
And then it gets juicy and baking it for quite a long time. The other thing that you can do is you can cut it the size if it's about a 2-pounder. This is called a Dutch oven. It's very heavy. It's cast iron, and it makes wonderful stews, and it can actually go right in the oven. Beautiful thing too.
All of these, just gotta be careful with the handles.
Yeah, that's pretty heavy.
Don't want to burn your hands.
And so with the mushrooms, Meg, all I did was I just kind of cleaned them, and I just sliced them up like this.
So use how many mushrooms would you say?
Well, it's actually 2 cups, so about 4 to 6. But definitely on the shiitakes, I get rid of the stem, all right? And then I just slice it up, all right? So that's the mushrooms while this is cooking down. Now,
and we say about a cup of carrots too?
I use between like 4 and 6 carrots. So again, 2 cups of carrots, 2 cups of...
Trying to get how many mushrooms or all of this veggies?
Yeah, it's about 2 cups of onions sliced, 2 cups of mushrooms sliced, and then the carrots, all right?
And now the meat.
And now the meat, what we're going to do, let's bring this bad boy over here, and we're going to kind of get it ready before we sear it in our pan. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my knife, and I'm just going to kind of poke some holes in it. because we want to poke these holes to add the yummy garlic to it.
Stuff it. We put
Now,
little pieces.
I want to show you. This is the meat side. This is the fatty side. Okay, so we're going to stuff it in this side. And Meg, go ahead and help me. And you just sliver the garlic. And you just kind of stuffing it in. All right.
Oh, this one needs to go in there.
That one is. All right.
It's a big one.
Okay, do we have any more? Oh yeah, here's another slit. All right. And then how about right there? Here.
Oh.
I won't
So
get you.
Careful.
Yes, be very careful around me with knives.
Yes.
All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take and add some garlic powder and onion.
Powder.
So
and then
here's,
onion powder, onion flakes.
and we're going to just, And so, you know, when in the olden days when my mom would make this, because this is totally a traditional hand-me-down Jewish dish, is we would use, you know, the old Lipton's. But Lipton's onion soup mix, unfortunately, has a lot of added ingredients, MSG, things like that we really don't want to add, and it's not so good for us.
But you can if you want to use that French onion.
Like Simply Organic makes a French onion better for you. Or what we do is we just use, because all that really is just minced onion, dried minced onion. So you can take about a tablespoon of that and sprinkle it on your little brisket here. And then you can either, and this is onion granules, and add about a teaspoon of that and put that on there. And then we're going to add a little bit of salt.
More salt.
And then make some fresh ground pepper.
Oh my goodness.
Now at this point, if you don't have fresh thyme or another herb that's fresh, you can go ahead and add dried. That's
thyme.
perfectly fine. Okay? So then what we do on this top is, actually I'm not going to do it yet because we want to sear it first as is. All right? So let's check our onions and veggies and see if they're cooking down a little bit. Yep. So we really just want to get the onions and the veggies kind of wilted, because this dish is going to sit in the oven for anywhere from 4 to 6 hours, depending on the thickness and the tenderness that you want it in, once it's done. So this is almost done.
And you wouldn't want to just put the brisket and the onions and stuff. You can't just put it all in. Like, say you're in a rush and you don't have the time to kind of cook all of this down before. Can you throw everything on it and then just put it in the oven?
Yes, you can. I have found, though, that it comes way more flavorful by doing this first
extra
steps. But it doesn't mean that you have to. All right, so we're going to go ahead and sear the brisket. All right, so I'm adding a little bit of olive oil there, Megs. And then we're going to start with the fat side down. Okay. I'm going to do about 3 minutes aside.
Okay.
All right. And I'm just going to take my little tin foil and cover it because we don't have a lid for this. So after 3 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and flip it.
And it smells so good already.
It does. Oh. All right. And then see how nice and seared that looks?
Oh, it's so beautiful, Pegs.
All right. So now I'm going to take this. I'm going to add a little salt. I'm going to add a little more of the onion granules.
It's like a teaspoon.
To this half. Yeah. Little
Give or
shakes.
take.
Yeah, you just want to just cover it.
I want to be very generous with the seasoning. Because this is all that really yummy flavor.
This is so good. And then some of the onion flakes.
Yum.
All right, we're going to cover it for another 3 minutes. Okay, so it's been another 3 minutes. And nice. Look at that. Beautiful.
Very beautiful. So you're taking it off the pan now.
I'm going to take it off the pan. That's right. And I'm going to turn this off. So what we're going to do, let's see.
Here, just...
We're going to return like a little bit, about half, back to the pan. That looks good. Alright.
Oh, yum.
Right.
Look at how little it cooked down to.
Yeah,
That's like something you really pay attention to. Like, it really does cook down.
Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the brisket, bring it back.
So what does it matter? Fat side down?
Yeah, you want fat side down. Absolutely, that's great. Thanks, Meg. And then we're going to take this, and we're just gonna take the paste.
So fat's it out, and now we're putting the tomato paste
all around it.
covering it.
And then we're gonna get all of our liquids ready. So we have the broth, the no chicken broth, and the wine. Alright. And then our oven has been preheating at about 400.
So high heat.
High heat, and for about 15-20 minutes, just to kind of get it seared in, right? Get all this right here. This is beautiful. And
thick, nice.
Yep. And then I'm just gonna add just a little more salt.
Yeah, because this tomato paste doesn't have any salt in it.
And then I'm gonna go ahead and
what do we do with the parsley?
I'll show you. And then we're gonna just add this on the top. Wait, but let's do it this way so everyone can see. And you just put all that on top.
I'm gonna get everything. Well, I can't.
That's pretty good. That looks good. Nice.
Everything.
All right. You're funny.
No wasting.
No wasting. All right, so all this is beautiful on the top.
Look at Peg's tough hands. She's just like going in there and touching all the
And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna sprinkle some of the parsley around.
Beautiful.
Okay. And then we're gonna take some of the fresh thyme.
Oh, and you don't even peel it. You just leave it like the whole everything.
Right, because then after it bakes for a really long time.
Kind of looks like our leg of lamb that we do with this.
Yeah, it does. It looks a
Smells
little bit
like
like it. And then throw in those.
The bay leaves. Put them in.
And now we're gonna just top it with some.
Doesn't matter if I put it on the top or the bottom.
Well, the bay leaves I like to kind of stick in.
Because we want them in with the broth.
Yeah, in the broth. And then go ahead and add your stock.
Pouring it all over as well. Oh my god.
Because the juice is what's going to give it.
Yeah, but this, I don't want to push all the veggies off, so I'm just going to kind of keep.
No, it's good. So it's about 2 cups.
Oh my gosh, my mouth is watering right now.
So now all we're going to do is cover it and put it in our preheated oven. Here is the brisket, Meg.
And the brisket, we had it in the oven. We started it at 400 degrees, but only for the first 30 minutes, and then we turned down the heat to 300, and then that's when you cook it for the 4 to 5 hours. And seriously, look at how small this thing shrinks to. It's crazy.
Oh my god, it smells really yummy.
Yeah, it smells delicious.
Okay, so at this point, what typically we would do, my mom taught me it this way, all right? At this point, it's so mushy and everything delicious. You know, we separate it. So we separate the juices and we pull all the herbs out. And so you can see how beautiful, here's another leaf, ma'am. How beautiful everything is. And remember you asked about the thyme, Meg? So the thyme leaves fall off. And all that you have are the little sticks. So you kind of go through that.
That's what you go through and find and kind of pick out.
And you pick it out. Now, there isn't a huge amount of juice here. So you want to really, while it's cooking, really check and see, you know, about your juices. All right? Typically, you get about 2 cups of juice. If you don't have a lot of juice, what you can do is just add more of your chicken stock or your beef stock to heat it. Okay? And so I'm going to take this, and here's more of the stalks. All right? And I'm just going to scrape this. And so I want to show you what fork tender looks like. Okay?
Eating all the herbs.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. You could eat this just right now.
Well, you could, but it's really hot because what it's going to do is just going to shred. So if you want to use this for shredded brisket tacos.
Or like a sandwich.
Or a sandwich, you know, you pull apart and you want to make that. But what you want to do is...
Which you should. Oh my gosh.
Okay. Here's one that we had made ahead so that we could refrigerate it.
So you can see all this separated. We have the stalk.
And so my mom used to always say, pull off all of the fat. So here's one, and you can see how much more liquid was left in this one. It just varies. It varies on the oven. It varies on the length of time, you know, things like that. So you have all this right here. And then now, let me grab this one. So this one's cold. It's been in the refrigerator. And it makes it way easier to slice.
Oh, so this one you're trying to slice.
So this one I'm going to show them how to slice. Because the thing about, and look how much, these were all the same size basically. Okay.
They all shrink a lot.
They shrink a lot. And so I'm gonna see if we can show you. You cut brisket on the cross grain. And what that is, it's if the grain is going this way, you wanna go across the grain, okay? So let's see if I can attempt to do it. And sometimes I always have to try and make a mistake and just do it all over again. But I always go, you always know if you're not cutting it the right way because it just kind of falls apart. So, and then if you cut it the right way, it just...
Is that it?
Yeah. Well, see, so how it's falling apart. So yeah, so that's good. Oh, I think this is good.
So this is how you could make like slices of brisket.
And then what it is because you know when we were cooking it, you have that fatty side.
You can then
this
take
way
this.
you can take the fatty off if people don't really like all the fat.
But then this you can try as well.
So you can see. Let's see if I start here. And this is the cross grain, and then it just comes beautifully. How thin you want it.
Oh, it's so good.
Okay.
And so for all of these, we're now gonna reheat this.
Right. So then
But you wanna, the whole point of putting it in the refrigerator is so that you can cut it beautifully like this.
Yes.
So then to create slices to then serve. So that's the whole
to
point.
make a really pretty.
That's a
dish.
really good way if once it comes out of the oven for shredding it for like tacos or sandwiches or anything if you're not trying to do
Yes.
this.
So Meg, why don't you start taking the slices and put them back?
Does it matter? You're just kind of setting them
No,
down.
you just kind of set them in your dish here. All right.
Okay.
And then I'm going to just take this. And then what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll take, and some of it'll flake off, and that's okay too. Okay. And then we're going to put all this in the dish, like so. Now
Love
take the veggies. All right.
Use a spoon.
No, I'm just going to use my hand here. We're just going to put
Dirty.
the veggies.
Back in there.
There's a lot of veggies here. And we're going to just put them on like so. And then we're going to take
Some of the broth.
And then just pour it on top like this.
And you're covering it all the way. So if you
because-
didn't get a lot of broth, this is where you would then add a little extra just chicken broth.
Exactly.
And now we're just reheating it.
And you're going to put it in the oven for up to an hour.
And so this whole recipe you can get on currygirlskitchen.com. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter,
Pinterest, all
But we're
of them.
constantly posting other yummy things to pair this with. Other things to do for the Jewish holidays and for football season now coming around.
Oh my gosh, Megan, show them the barbecue sauce. So all you would have to do is after you cut this, you just lather it in barbecue sauce, cook it for about 20 minutes and still heated through, and then you are good to go with barbecued brisket. You can even cook it in
gosh.
it.
Okay, I need to try this. I've already tried it, but I need to try it some more.
I haven't tried it. So.
All of it.
Wow. That was a big bite, but robust flavor. This is a family pleaser.
It's like soul food. It's like all of the onions and the carrots and the mushrooms just make this really yummy, hearty sauce with a little bit of the wine.
It's just a rich, beautiful, full-bodied one pot. We can't wait to hear from you. Tell us, how'd yours come out? How'd you serve it? Fantastic.